unofficial winners from Tuesday's primary elections is under pressure tonight to drop out. Members of Rick Southerland's own party are saying he should withdraw from the new Hanover County School Board race after they learned he lives with a convicted sex offender.
WECT's Delaney Tarpley is following this story for us tonight. Delaney, you heard from Southerland and the party chair. How did this news not come out until after Election Day?
Yeah, that's a good question, Fran. Party Chair Jill Hopman said Southerland did not disclose this information at all during his campaign. And we only now know about it because someone sent an anonymous tip to our media partners at WHQR. They spent all day vetting the information before the full story could come out.
A bombshell announcement on the day after Election Day. A candidate for school board who secured enough votes to move on to the general election in November has a relationship with a registered sex offender.
I do understand the frustration and surprise, but I do not believe this to be a betrayal at all.
Records show Rick Southerland lives with James Osborne, a man with a conviction for possessing child sexual abuse material in 2020. Southerland says Osborne is a good person who has become a, quote, contributing citizen since going to prison.
My family embraced him. He lives on the property. We're offering him a space so that he can continue doing the good work that he's doing. The lack of grace extended to someone in need from a party that prides itself on second chances, education, and acceptance when accountability is voiced is highly disappointing.
New Hanover County Democratic Party Chair Jill Hopman said she felt blindsided, even sharing this excerpt from Rick Southerland's candidate questionnaire. The form asked if he had anything in his personal life that could be used against him or the party. Southerland responded no. Hopman was unavailable for an interview but sent us the following statement, reading in part, quote, Rick Southerland knowingly concealed this critical information from the party and the public. He recklessly put the NHCDP, our elected officials, his partner, and numerous other political, nonprofit, and county organizations at risk, end quote. She and other members of the party have called on Southerland to withdraw his candidacy. Southerland said he has nothing to hide and says he will review the calls to step down, but still thinks he would be a good school board member.
After I get an opportunity to review any post, any expression of that, then I can make a decision. This in no way, shape, or form will impede or hinder me from doing my job as an elected official.
Among the other Democrats that have spoken up and asked Southerland to step down are current school board member Tim Merrick, County Commissioner Stephanie Walker, and State Representative Deb Butler. Delaney Tarpley, WECT News.